Hello, today we are going over the installation for a Patriot magazine release for the Kel-Tec Sub 2000. These are the items you should have in your Kel-Tec Sub 2000 Patriot magazine release kit. The Patriot magazine release body, a single-use super glue tube with tip, a small stainless steel nut, a washer, one screw, a small piece of hot glue, and an Allen wrench. These are two things that will assist you greatly in the installation of your PMR. Some sort of heat source. It doesn't have to be an elaborate torch. It could be a Bic lighter. We'll get to that later. And any pair of pliers or wrench that you can find. Now we're going to assemble the Patriot magazine release for assembly onto the rifle. Notice that the Patriot magazine release has a flat side and a raised side. We are going to take the long screw we have provided and we are going to thread it into the flat side of the rifle. I'm going to do that by hand. I don't need an Allen wrench for that. You're going to see that it will go through about halfway through. You're going to go the opposite way from the back and just make sure it's a little bit snug. Now I'm going to open the super glue by screwing this on, and it will do a little pop and a little bit of glue might come out here at the end, so be ready for that. Now I'm going to take this, I'm going to back it out just the tiniest bit off of the PMR. I'm going to put a little drop on the threads there just to make sure everything is nice and tight. Back it back up against the PMR. And then I'm going to put a drop just at the very edge as close as I can to the Patriot magazine release, and I'm going to put the super glue aside. We're going to use it a little bit later. Now I'm going to take the included stainless steel nut and I'm going to thread it onto this bolt that you have already installed into the PMR. And I'm going to run it all the way up to the area where we have put the super glue. I'm going to make sure that it is all the way up against the aluminum piece. And as I mentioned before, a pair of pliers will make this job a lot easier. I'm actually using the worst product for this job, a pair of vice grips, just to show you that anything you have will get the job done. And I'm going to make sure that it's snug against the part. We're going to set that aside because it's a good idea to let that dry for a little bit, but you do get to see the orientation of the raised area and the screw in the finished product. Now we're going to take the Allen wrench, which we included in your kit, and we're going to remove this screw. I've already started this one out. It is not difficult to pull. We're going to remove that screw out of the rifle and set it aside. There is a washer, which we are not going to disturb. We're going to take the included washer that we put in there and drop it right on top of the one that was already in place. And we're going to take the Patriot magazine release and put it onto the rifle like so. I'm going to use a little bit of super glue on the screw that we pulled out of the rifle. Just a touch. I'm going to put it into that and thread it into place. And I'm going to make sure that it is quite snug. You'll feel it tightening against the body of the rifle as you go, and that's about what we want right there. I'm now going to let this sit for about an hour, so we'll see you in a little bit. Welcome back. We are going to make this California legal by casting a small plug into this screw with some hot glue. Now, if you have a hot glue gun, great, but you don't need that. All we're doing, and I'm going to use just a kitchen torch to do this. You could use a Bic lighter if you wanted. I'm simply going to light up my torch, and I'm going to melt a little bit of hot glue right over that screw. It'll drop right in. Remember, that's hot. Give that about 5 minutes, and we'll see you in a bit. We're back. So we've let this cool sufficiently. It's still shiny, so if you just take your finger and kind of push on there, you're going to see that that is going to make it match perfectly. And the purpose of this is it will be destroyed, quote unquote, if I need to take that screw out in the future. So that is a part that I have cast that's going to be destroyed. So California law then says that if you're destroying one of the parts, it is a quote unquote permanent installation. Okay, now we're going to show operation of your newly installed Patriot magazine release kit. To drop the magazine in this kit, you're simply going to move the factory lever, open the gun slightly, and you're going to rotate that button down. It will not go any further than it needs to go. I'm actually going to push on the Patriot magazine release, which will drop the magazine. The nice thing about this kit is when I close it, it's going to reset and it will not let me push the magazine out of the gun. So you have successfully installed your Patriot magazine release on your KelTec Sub 2000. Thank you.